You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 176 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day, is Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023, and according to the Weather Network, even though it's gray and a little rainy here, well, the rain has stopped actually, it looks like the gray skies are making way for sunny skies later today here at the Beaver Lodge. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. And with me, as always, is my dear friend, Mr. Grizzly. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a Wednesday morning nibble for you, but before we start, let's do the most important thing we do on this show here at the Beaver Lodge. Say hello to you, Mr. Grizzly, and ask, how's your mental health doing today?
Well, good morning, Mr. Beaver. Sorry, I just realized the HDR was on my camera, and it made me look all weird. I'm good now, but when I first woke up, I was in a state of existential dread and emptiness and sadness, and another night of stupid, vivid, lucid dreams that really had me. I woke up very messed up. I'm fine now, but when I first woke up, it was like was not doing good. So yeah, I'm doing much better now. So I don't know what. Let's just say those weird dreams, man. They can really take a toll on you.
I am in a fantastic mood. But before we get into that, good morning to you, Kit Tabby G, Kit Mohan, Kit Dan T. Glad you took a mental health day today. And he says, I never watched 176 episodes of anything. Thanks, guys. No, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Kit Linda M. Good morning, Kit Ellen. Good morning. Let's see, who else do we have with us today? PNC Bio. Hey, lovely to see you today. Andrew, lovely to see you again this morning. Thank you for spending some vacation time with us. We really appreciate it. Kit Ellen, I'm not sure if I had already said that, but if I did, hey, you're worthwhile saying hello to twice. Thank you so much for joining us today. And joining us today back so soon to the Beaver Lodge, but with very, very good reason. Mr. Grizzly. Oh, Kit Jen, good morning to you. And Gord, there's a new name. Good morning to you as well. Mr. Grizzly, why not bring in our special guest?
Here he is.
Hello.
Hello. How are you
Oh.
doing? How is your mental health today, sir?
Oh, it's real good. It's real good, fellas.
We figured as much, yeah.
Lay it on me.
was
Lay it on me,
well.
Jake.
If you haven't heard, Donald Trump has been indicted finally for the coup. It has been a long time coming. In fact, too long. But it's here. Thank God.
Mr. Grizzly, because I love to see our old, new, constant pal, Jake, smile. I believe that this might be worth a replay for our kids. If you would put it up, I'm sure you will recognize this fine, upstanding gentleman.
I bet he's going to look haggard, and rightly so.
Probably not.
There we go. Okay, it's working. Yeah,
is it working now?
We don't see it, but the kids see it. So that's
the
all
kids
that
do
matters.
see it.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I can see it on the YouTube.
Okay.
Today, indictments unsealed.
Whoops, that doesn't seem to be very loud. Let's try that one more time. There you go.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding.
Oh, yes.
The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone,
my peers,
redeeming us. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes.
Boom.
Patriots, and they are the very best of us. They did not just defend a building or the people sheltering in it. They put their lives on the line to defend who we are as a country and as a people.
Yes, sir.
They defended the very institutions and principles that define the United States. Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues. In this case, my office will seek a speedy trial so that our evidence can be tested in court and judged by a jury of citizens. In the meantime, I must emphasize that the indictment is only an allegation and that the defendant must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law.
And a class act, too.
I would like to thank the members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation who are working on this investigation with my office, as well as the many career prosecutors and law enforcement agents from around the country who have worked on previous January 6th investigations. These women and men are public servants of the very highest order, and it is a privilege to work alongside them. Thank you. Good evening.
Oh, my God.
Well.
PNC Bio. Oh, yeah. Well, PNC Bio putting it best. Fourth indictment of the year. Donald Trump is, he's not only setting a record as the first ever American president, former American president, thank God, indicted for a crime. Boy, the next, do you know how low the pressure is for the next person that wants to be president? If you don't want to be the worst president in history, get indicted just less than 4 times. If you get indicted 3 times and impeached just once, you're still not the worst.
Yeah, and the thing is now, right, when Forrest Grump stands all in front of a camera and goes, "This has never happened before. This is totally unprecedented." Actually not, because this is now the 4th time, buddy, so it's not unprecedented. It just happens to be 4 times. It's all you.
Yeah, 100% it's precedented. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Jesus
One-man
God.
crime spree. Yes. Oh, my word. Okay, so, how did you feel when you heard those words, my friend?
As cliche as it is, it's the honest answer here. It literally felt like setting down a heavy load. Finally. I think, honest thoughts here, I think in the near future in this country, we are going to have to take steps to make sure this is handled quicker and harsher. But I'm glad to see that we at least have the most important thing dealt with, which is we will treat a coup like a coup. We actually will address it. Good. We're not that far gone.
3 years later.
Yeah. Took entirely too long.
Eventually.
Yeah, well, yeah. Better late than never, right?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. In that Jack Smith statement, the one thing that made my ear go, I don't know about that.
All right, hit me.
Is when he made that statement about, like, the Department of Justice has been on this, like, from day one, and just like, not that first year.
No.
Not that first year.
No. Yeah. I don't know why you would bother saying that when it is obviously clearly not the case.
Not that first year. When everything was being obstructed and all of a sudden the threshold to get a warrant became like 5 times harder. Just because he happened to be president once and said he already announced he intended to run again.
Yeah, it definitely speaks to a guilty conscience. I mean, the fact that it was even an option that Trump was able to talk about 2024 tells you how bad things were.
I mean, his entire strategy is to become the world's most infamous panhandler and to get me back to the Oval Office in time.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
So
deeply sad, but yes.
Yes. So, kits and cubs, yesterday, for the 4th time in history, a former president of the United States was indicted. Happens to be the same guy who was the first former president of the United States to be indicted, and the second former president of the United States to be indicted, and the third former president of the United States to be, or the first to be indicted 3 times, now 4 times, with a 5th to come because they're putting up barricades in front of the Fulton County Courthouse in Georgia. And Fani Willis says that everything is done and she's ready to go, and it is probably coming sometime between September, which means within the next 4 weeks. Let's split the difference. Let's say it's coming in 2. We'll see. But yes, the former president of the United States, Donald Jessica Trump, as Rainbow likes to call her, was charged with Title 18 U.S. Code 371, which includes the fraudulent election scheme, Pence's pressure campaign, the riot on January 6th, and using the Department of Justice to subvert the election and coax out fraudulent electors. I'm guessing that would be conspiracy to defraud the United States. Title 18 U.S. Code 1512K, conspiracy to obstruct and impede the electoral count on January 6th. I think that one is pretty obvious. Title 18 U.S. Code 1512C2, the actual obstruction of the electoral count, because it needed to be stopped when people decided that they were going to crash the party and relieve themselves on the carpets and wipe themselves with the drapes. Literally, they defecated all over the place. And then Title 18 U.S. Code 241, conspiracy against rights for one or more persons to have the right to vote and have their vote count. So yeah, there's a civil rights charge in there. Now, he was not charged with 2383, which is incitation of an insurrection, or also he wasn't charged with seditious conspiracy. Of course, there is such thing as superseding indictments, and those things can come because, in addition to Donald Jessica Trump, there were 6 unnamed, wink, co-conspirators. About 5 of them you can kind of figure out who they are, even though they're still referred to as co-conspirator 1, 2, and but there are 6, and none of them have been indicted yet, which goes to Mr. Smith saying that he wanted a speedy trial because if you decide to present your initial case without talking about any of those messy co-conspirators and whatnot, then you don't have other people to bring along who can all then file their own reasons for delay of the next trial. And again, no insurrection, no seditious conspiracy. And a lot of these charges are like the documents case, just press play.
Oh, yes.
Because when we said first, Lordy, there are tapes, who knew that there would be so many tapes, so many perfect calls, all caught on tape. All my perfect calls.
It's shocking to me how much evidence there is. That's really why we need to make sure this stuff is handled earlier. As I've been telling my audience, like, this can't be that difficult to prove. We can't need it to be this blatant in order to get a conviction. We will only have so many treacherous villains be this incompetent. We got lucky that when we were tested, the answers were basically right at the bottom of the page. Ooh.
Yeah. So
I gotta chime in on one thing.
Yes.
I'm made nervous by the lack of sedition charges, if I'm honest. And
me too.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping it's superseding.
Yes, that is a really good point.
Once they charge the co-conspirators.
Yeah.
Because he also said some people are still under investigation.
That's good. And, I'm glad it remains a possibility and a realistic one. I would have been, again, it's like the rest of the charges, though. I don't know how much more evidence we need for sedition, although if it is, as you say, then the evidence is probably already there and the details are just getting finalized. We have learned that Smith is not afraid of a superseding indictment, and I think this documents case is being used in part to tell us, look, this is how it's going to go. You're going to hear about this in stages, and we're going to charge as we are ready in stages. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Because the important thing, right, is get him charged and convicted on what you can.
Yes.
Now, take him off. And you can always add to, because listen, this guy has not stopped criming.
Mm-hmm.
The analogy I use,
maybe electing a serial narcissist, philanderer, sexist, racist, former reality TV star, grifter, fraudster, liar,
everyday bad hair wearing person.
Maybe electing him president was a bad idea. I'm just saying.
Turns out, I mean, who would have seen this coming except for everybody on Earth, the entire planet yelling at us? What are you doing? Stop!
I keep on saying it. Globe, where it is that you can vote, but Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, Margaret Thatcher, Boris Johnson, people with weird hair, don't vote for them.
Don't vote for them. They have a track record.
It's a tell. The weird hair is a tell.
It's
what's under the hair is not fully firing on all cylinders.
Well, think about this.
Because you chose to wear that look on purpose.
All the comic book evildoers in comic always have giant heads with weird hair.
My God.
In all the comic books.
I hate how accurate this is, but it's totally accurate.
check the hair
It goes
first. If
outward.
the hair
Phil
is weird,
Spector.
run the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, among the co-conspirators, we assume that co-conspirator number 1 is Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
We suspect that co-conspirator number 2 is John Eastman. Number 3, Sidney Powell. Number 4, Jeffrey Clark. And number 5, Kenneth Chesebro. Number 6 is still unclear. There's speculation that is probably Boris Epstein, but maybe Peter Navarro. We don't know. Either way, both of them are rank assholes who deserve to definitely have their bony asses stuck in jail for a good long time. But of the 5 that we know, do you notice a common theme, Jake?
Lawyers for Trump?
MAGA. Make attorneys, get attorneys.
Yep.
All his co-conspirators are lawyers.
Interesting.
Lawyers, people. Lawyers, kitties. Lawyers.
I've been talking about the difference between millionaires and billionaires, and that is one of the differences. Billionaires see lawyers as like working class patsies. That's who you get to do your dirty work for you, is lawyers.
They were the fry guys.
Yes. Whereas if those people genuinely in the working class tend to see lawyers as like, oh, it's a kind of a fancy profession. And no, a billionaire, this is a henchman.
Yes.
A3 to B4. Just move it. Literally. What's interesting to me is who's not on this list. There is no Steve Bannon. There's no Roger Stone. There's no Owen Schroyer, who was a name that we don't hear a lot about, but he was one of Alex Jones's like really, really close little guys who was also in the room at the Willard. There is no Mark Meadows. There is no Kevin McCarthy. There's a lot of people not named in any way, shape, or form, or reference to any way, shape, or form in all of this. So that's what lets me think there is way more to come.
I would think so, yeah.
I'm really, really hoping you're right, because there is a lot that I demand be answered for, frankly, that is simply not in here. Now, that said, again, Smith has long since earned my my patience. He's one of the few U.S. prosecutors that has. Because if you want me to trust you in the United States, if you're in the DOJ in the United States, my trust is not a default anymore. It must be earned. I must see reasonable behavior. He's so far displayed it, but that's with that caveat put down firmly. I will say we're asking a lot for future indictments. I want to see a connection between Donald Trump and the Oath Keepers. I simply don't believe those people were there by coincidence. And I don't believe Donald Trump didn't know they were going to be there in some way.
I completely agree
that
with
needs
you.
to be answered for.
Well, and as you said, at one point the default would have been to just automatically trust. Got to re-earn the trust of the American people.
Yeah, and frankly, they shouldn't have had it the last 100 years that they did have it, but now that I think things are a little bit more out in the open, now that we're in the age of the internet, and you have people in real time being like, "Hey, what the hell?" We're starting to get some behavior that is actually living up to the reputation for not letting politics get in the way. Good. We're there.
Yep. There is I can't do what you're asking me here, Mr. Grizzly. There's a new campaign sign for Trump. I don't know if the kids can see it. Hopefully on the screen. We're having a little trouble with our screen. What shows up on our screen?
Yeah,
it's not just good.
No.
Yeah.
We're all getting that same thing right now. I don't know. It's a weird thing with Restream as of late. It is showing up in the feed though, so
it is a poster. It is a Trump poster that says Trump 2020, and somebody crossed out the last 20, so it just says it's written 20 to life. There we go.
Oh,
life.
Take that,
I
you
love
bastards.
Yeah, exactly. Now, interesting. The presiding judge in the Trump case in D.C. is Justice Chutkan, who is a Barack Obama employee and appointee. And Judge Chutkan gave the Orange Menace, the Tangerine Tornado, Mango Madness, President Pumpkinhead, thankfully former President Pumpkinhead, until tomorrow to show up in her courtroom to register a plea. Thursday, 4 p.m. The indictment came down Tuesday, Thursday. In 2 days, bring your orange, ample, Depends-wearing ass to my courtroom and register a plea, you fuckwad. Exclamation point.
And you know
she is not playing.
He's going to holler about it too, but can you just imagine for a moment? I don't know if you guys have ever gotten in trouble over in Canada, but like, can you imagine how bad this guy would hate it if he had to just go through the regular process for getting seen on like a misdemeanor? Show up at court at 9 a.m. You got to wait there in a crowded room all day hearing complaints about parking tickets. Finally, like 3:30 rolls around, the judge sees you, listens for 30 seconds, makes a snap decision, and that's that. Like, he'd go insane. He would go insane.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes, Tabby D goes, he really doesn't like black female judges.
I can't wait for him to step in it. You know he's going to say something dumb.
Oh, he's got to say something dumb. And I can't believe that I have a feeling that Judge Chutkan, given that Jack Smith said he wants a speedy trial, won't pull an Eileen Cannon where Jack Smith says, how about December? And Trump goes, how about never?
Yeah.
Can you try never?
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that, Judge? Or at least like postpone until after the election so I can pardon myself first and make it go away? Can I has that, please?
Oh, God.
And Taco Bowl with Diet Coke, please. Can I has? And then Judge Eileen Cannon turns around and says, hey, well, how about, when everybody was expecting she'd split the difference in March, how about May? Let's bring it within like 6 months of the like, I have a feeling that Judge Chutkan, given that Eileen Cannon gave him 4 days to come and register a plea, and she gave him 2, when he says, how about after the election? He's probably going to turn around and go, how about next week, you fuckwad?
Yeah. I'm surprised
Was
Cannon...
next week good for you? Because I can do that. This is my courtroom.
Surprised Cannon didn't try to compromise and say, we will give him until halfway until infinity. This new judge is not going to take crap. And for the record, she has got a history of not taking nonsense from all kinds of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's
lovely. It's so much fun. And then, of course, you got some reactions. So you have Mike Pence doing his, race banning thing and trotting out his familiar line, something like, no man should be above the Constitution, and any man who asks someone to put him above the Constitution should not be president. And it's like Mike Pence barely made the donation threshold to be on the debate stage.
Gentlemen,
just barely. Like last week, I was about to report that he didn't have enough, and apparently yesterday or something, he must have made it because he said he will be on the debate stage. So somewhere within the last 4 days, he yeah, buddy.
I've got some commentary here from one of Trump's new attorneys. It's just a clip. It's a short clip. Let me just put it up on the screen here. This just came out. So hang on a sec here. So
probably John Lau.
I think it's one of his latest attorneys. I'm not sure. Just a sec.
Let me get this straight. You people, and I do mean you people, say he's stealing documents now. Boo-hoo. Go ahead and cry about it. Stealing documents. Let me get my phone out so I can call BS on that. He didn't steal nothing. And if he did, I'm sure it was an accident. We've all been there before. The last day on the job, you go to stick 2 or 3 boxes of pens in your pants, a stapler in your pocket, and next thing you know, you're walking out with 20 to 30 boxes marked top secret, taking them down to the golf course where you live. We've all been there. And if you say you haven't, you're a damn liar. So you Judies can judge all you want. But I say he is who without sin clogged the first toilet with the documents.
Used with that
Golden.
sin clog the first toilet.
That's comedian Brent Terhune. I've been following him for a few years. He first came to prominence, I think, back in 2020. Like, he's been on the scene for a while, but he really got a big audience on TikTok when he started talking about the coronavirus. He's hilarious.
Oh my God, if it was the coronavirus, we'd still have it. You can't get rid of those cars. They're indestructible.
Exactly. Let he who was without sin clog the first toilet.
Well, you know what? It's funny because it's almost like that. 45's lawyer, John Laurel, on CNN, quote, "Our defense is going to be focusing on the fact that what we have now is an administration that has criminalized the free speech and advocacy of a prior administration during the time that there's a political election going on. That's unprecedented. We've never seen that in the United States in the history of the United States. And none of that has any basis in law, so good luck with that. I'm sure the judge will have all day to hear that. What you did was not free speech and advocacy, buddy." The election was stolen. You have to go to the Capitol and fight like hell, or we're not going to have a country anymore. It's not free speech and advocacy.
I gotta tell you, I realize that for somebody who talks about politics on the internet, I should be appreciative of the fact that there is a controversy that people are interested in.
Mhm.
But I'm not. I'm so sick of this guy. Like, I cannot wait. We should just pack him up in a cardboard box, put that box, just tape it a bunch, put that box on a ship, and sink the ship. I'm just sick. I'm so sick of hearing about this guy.
I'm right with you. This guy has no second act.
No.
Just no second. It's literally all the same thing. While he's trying to fight the documents charges, he is engaging in the same rhetoric that caused January 6th.
Yes.
As he knows he's going to go to trial for January 6th, he's talking like that again.
You're not kidding. I mean, this is not a joke. It's funny, but it's not a joke. When the guy lost, when The Apprentice lost the Emmys, he said it was rigged.
Yeah.
Yep.
When he lost Iowa in 2020, he said that was rigged. And then he said, when it looked like 2020 was going to be a loss for him in general, he said it was rigged unless he won.
And then when he went to go get a marriage license to marry Ivanka, and they said, you can't get one to marry your daughter, he said it's rigged.
I want to...
That unfair.
I want to point...
This has never happened to a former president before, not being able to marry his own daughter.
Tell you what, we'll split the difference. You can marry Tiffany. Ew, pass.
God, he doesn't even see her for regularly scheduled court mandated visits.
Jesus. I do want to point out something about Pence, and credit where it's due. Bo, the fifth column, was talking about this. I thought it was a really good point. Mike Pence used wording in his little statement there. Once again, not quite having the backbone to name Trump specifically.
Say my name, say his name.
But also, he did say anybody who goes against free and fair elections. I think there is about to be, and just because I agree with Bo's assessment here, I think there is about to be a official stance by the GOP section of the Republicans, the old heads, against the MAGA folks. I think they're saying this is the beginning of us hearing them say enough of this nonsense. This is not a winning strategy. That's been demonstrated. We're sick of being embarrassed, and we want to live in a democracy. Fingers are crossed.
Yep. We also have some reaction from Officer Mike Fanone.
Oh,
who's on the record to say, saying Donald Trump spent his entire lifetime fucking around, and he's about to find out. I'd like to think that in some small way I played a part in all this.
Yes, Officer Fanone, you did, and we thank you.
We thank you.
And then you have Harry Dunn, said, all I've wanted from day one was accountability and justice for the law enforcement men and women who fought bravely on January 6th. As we get closer to the proverbial finish line, I can only reflect on how long this fight has been. I would be lying if I did not acknowledge my numbness with the news of the indictment today of a former president of the United States. I am confident that our legal system will handle this case properly. And Jake for Kids and Cubs. Who is Harry Dunn?
That is the Capitol Police officer who saved about half of Congress.
Mhm.
Yep.
He redirected.
Legitimately.
Yeah. If you look at the videos in retrospect, knowing what's going on in the background, it's like a nail biter.
Oh, yeah.
Seconds away, the mob was from our Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And he got them to follow him in a different direction.
And you think about
life.
The risk. Yeah, exactly. I mean, serious risk of life and limb in that sense, because that was a mob and they were out for blood.
That
and
was
if they
a mob.
decided they wanted to go past him, there was nothing he could do about it. Maybe he could get off a few rounds, but there were hundreds of them.
And that was a mob in the United States, and that was a black man. Historically, that's not a good situation to start.
No, not a good visual.
No. And it's not exactly like it was a mob of peaceniks. They had Confederate flags. Yeah, he was Linda M. He was a black man who let a bunch of racists chase him. Astounding. The brass balls on this guy are deserving of praise. And he will never pay for a drink in any bar where I am present.
No, absolutely not. No, yeah.
Yep. Now, there's a whole bunch more about the indictment that we can find out, we talk about, but more and more will be coming out over the next few days. So these are the large lines of them, the broad brushstrokes. But with other things going on in there, recent polls have shown that Biden and Trump are sort of tied 43-43, which blows my mind. Of course, this is a national poll, not state by state, so you got to take those with a grain of salt because, of course, it is electoral colleges and it's state by state. 39% have an approval rating of 39% for Biden, 41% for Trump, which means that if that's only 86, that means 14% are double haters and can't see the difference between either of them, which again blows my mind. 51% of Americans think that Trump has committed a crime. 53% do think that he's a threat to democracy. So he's going into the election with half the population thinking, of course, among Republicans, those numbers are different. But things are slowly getting better for Biden because last year, 64% of Democrats said that they would prefer having somebody else as the Democratic nominee. Now it's just 50%. So better. For finances, Trump is having some issues. His pro-Trump Save America PAC started 2022 with $100 million or over. It started 2023 with $18 million, and as of last month, it has $4 million. All because of lawyers.
Yeah, and I want to point something out here. Trump apparently is telling the RNC that apparently they cannot use his name or image without his permission anymore. I think that's interesting. I think he probably has heard something that we'll hear shortly along the tune of, we're not paying this guy's legal bills anymore.
They're not.
Yeah. And follow that further to, we're not carrying water for this guy anymore. I think I think usually he lashes out like this in an incredibly transparent way, and we just have to wait a week and we find out why that was. Good.
Now, some interesting other tidbits. Ron DeSantis, for some reason, even though Trump is running out of money, can't seem to capitalize on it because he too is running out of money. Apparently, his own campaign almost has nothing. His super PAC has about $97 million in the bank, but given that campaigns and super PACs are not supposed to coordinate, he's literally at the mercy of the super PAC. He can only do things that the super PAC will decide they are funding.
Yep.
So he's not even in control of his own campaign at the moment. He's got to dance to the tune the super PAC is calling. So if they want him to board a bus and go to Tallahassee and go shake some hands with people at a senior's residence there, he's got to do that, or he's got to generate his own campaign event.
I hate to say it, but that will probably help him. He is such a bad campaigner that he might actually do better if he only does what a group of shady, powerful people say to do.
Probably. And the thing is that he's not doing good on the small donors. Apparently, most of his money was raised from just 4 entities.
Good God.
Wow.
And on the other side, Chris Christie. Well, it seems that Chris Christie had Anthony Scaramucci donate $100,000, his campaign. And it seems that he also had a gentleman named Murray Kushner, who happens to be Charles Kushner's brother, Jared's uncle, who Christie put in jail.
Yeah,
Christie put Charles Kushner in jail, and apparently it's not that Murray flipped, but with Murray's cooperation, that happened. And Murray Kushner has decided to make a generous donation to Christie's campaign as well.
Didn't Christie put Jared's dad in jail on behalf of Murray? Yeah.
Yes,
Murray, I
exactly.
understand here. He's like, good,
but it's like,
my scumbag
here
brother.
we go.
Yeah.
So my theory that there are enough people in the United States who, like me, have petty as their favorite color, are deciding that yes, they would really, 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 really please like to keep Chris Christie in the race, just throwing haymakers like he don't give a shit, because he really doesn't.
Really, truly.
Which makes me happy. Makes my little beaver heart so happy, just overflows with schadenfreude joy.
Oh my God, yes. Watching these folks, the Confederacy didn't even last this long. These are not a group of people that are able to stick together very long, because they're abhorrent to all of us, including each other.
This is
it's a great day. Genuinely.
I have I think it's a good time to bring this clip up. I'm going to air this really quickly. It's completely related, and it's important that we remember this. And it's sad that we forgot during the Ontario election. But this was what Doug Ford had to say just a couple of years ago. If the video will play.
So you've actually met Donald Trump.
Yes.
With your brother Rob.
With Rob, when he opened the Trump Tower in Toronto.
Are you still a supporter of Donald Trump?
Absolutely. I wouldn't waver. Like the GOP's wavering, I wouldn't waver.
Good time to remember that.
Sure you want to stick to that there? Jesus.
I mean, it is from a couple of years ago, right? But still, we knew all these terrible things about him. This is pre-electioneering, election fixing, cheating, conspiring, pre all of that. And we still knew a ton of terrible stuff about him. And my support is unwavering.
We were talking about this yesterday, called the slow breakup, where there is this feigned ignorance, or this like all these excuses for deferring judgment on somebody until whatever awful thing they were being warned about has already happened, and then the excuse is, well, it's already happened, let's move on. I warn you. I warn you against anybody. I mean, obviously, this guy's no good, but anybody who is pretending like there's anything redeemable about Donald Trump, they are a liar. Now you know that anything else that person says for here till the end of time need not be listened to.
Indeed.
Oh.
All right, gents.
Man.
I got to jump, but I will join you on my phone in just a few minutes, and
excellent, brother.
We'll keep this rolling. We don't want to cut this off. This is good stuff. So I'll be back shortly, okay?
Excellent, brother.
All right. Okay. I was going to move to something else, but given that he's away, we'll get him when he comes back, because there's a Justin Trudeau moment I think you would really like to see as well.
Okay.
Yeah. But, okay. Well, since we're talking about the orange shit stain and everything going on, it turns out as well that we have found out, I haven't had a chance to read up too much on it, but it seems the Rudy Giuliani was stuck with the Ruby Freeman Shea Moss case.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the two election workers in Georgia who Rudy Giuliani said were passing around little thumb drives like vials of cocaine or heroin.
Super
because,
racist.
Of course, he needed to add that in there. I guess one turns out all it was a ginger mint. A ginger mint. These two women had their lives upended. Ruby Freeman, I believe, who is the mother of Shea Moss, has been an election worker like 40-something years or something ridiculous like that. They had weird stuff happened, like representatives from Kanye West came to knock on the door and said, you have to get out of here and come with us like really, really quickly because people are putting you in danger and we can keep you safe. Which fortunately they had the good sense to make a couple of calls and go, is this legit? Before it happened, because who knows what happened to them had they gone with them.
It's terrifying
Right.
to consider.
Yep. So apparently Rudy Giuliani had to a whole bunch of stuff because he has something like 17 different devices and things on clouds here and there and all over the place, had a whole bunch of databases to search for discovery. And he said that, well, that's going to cost me about like $392,000 and I don't have the money. And then the judge said, well, prove it. Yeah. And then instead of proving it, Rudy decided that he was basically going to plead no contest whatsoever to any of the charges. And I guess he's probably going to come up with another defense. I know I did all these bad things, but I was okay to do it because. But the only reason you do that is because you really, 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 really don't want to share your discovery.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah, he's terrified of discovery. He texted people a bunch of seditious stuff, and he could be charged with the worst crimes there are on our books if those messages are looked at.
He basically said, the judge basically turned around and said, like, what do you say about all these things you said about them? And says, I did lie about all that stuff for purely political purposes. I'm not going to contest that. So I don't have to share anything around that. Let's just use a whole other defense, whatever it's going to be. Yeah. But it's okay because on the second Sunday of the thing when the tide was high and like this, and Trump had a taco bowl at midnight. And so it makes it okay because he declassified my defamation with his mind. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. How about that, Judge? Did that work?
He's doing the Lovitz.
Here's, and then it seems that I heard today that Trump's super PAC or Trump covered his discovery fees. It was paid, so he did do it, but I guess he decided not to hand them over.
That would make sense to me. It would make sense that he would go to Trump and say, listen, if this comes out, you're going to get hurt. But that tells you a hell of a lot about what's in that, what he didn't want seen. And that tells you, by the by, that Jack Smith is probably going to be subpoenaing that already, if he didn't already.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if 100 other threads don't lead to that particular knot that is Rudy Giuliani's texts. For example, there were texts between the conspirators and Alex Jones, which we've seen from separate lawsuits. So I'd be amazed if Rudy Giuliani was not inevitably subpoenaed for those texts.
Now, Rudy was also ordered to pay $90,000 for the Georgia election workers' attorney's fees.
All right, good. Those ladies should not. They should not have to put up a dime, and as little of their time as possible should be taken up, and they should get a big, fat wheelbarrow full of money for the danger they were put in for no damn reason. This is one of those things where I'm like, there is no mercy to be given for the defendant here. throw the book at them. I realize it's a civil suit. Pick up whatever thing is associated with the civil suit, throw it at them, and let these gals live the rest of their lives like minor royalty for the amount of money that they get. We need to establish firmly that you cannot do this to citizens in your own damn country. You shouldn't. Let me be clear. You cannot do this to people. The Giuliani case is going exactly how I would hope it would go if I had a genie's wish. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. All right. In the documents case, we are finding out more information. And here's one beautiful thing that Jack Smith is doing. Remember when the tape of the Bedminster conversation was somehow leaked? We don't know by who yet. Could be by Trump. If he did, it was 4 days after the judge told him not to do it, which would not be smart. But if it was by Smith...
Well, we know Trump would never do something not smart.
No. But which if it's by Smith, it seems that there is a strategy to be strategically taking out all of 45's defenses before they are made. So, or as they are made. Because when that Bedminster tape came out where you hear that paper rustling, then, well, Trump's excuse, I'm guessing this might not have been his first draft of his excuse, but it was that the papers were fakes and that he was essentially lying to the autobiographers at the time, that he didn't really have those documents. In fact, such a document did not exist. And then we had the superseding indictment the other day that says, yes, you are being charged with the willful retention of this particular document that you said does not exist.
I mean, my God. I am starting to feel like a professional wrestler, like leaning on the ropes, like, let me hear it. The charge I know is coming.
Woo! No, there is no such thing. It doesn't exist. I never did that. Really. Charge number 32. The document you said doesn't exist. We have it. There you go, bitch.
Jack Smith. Rope bounce. People's elbow, you son of a gun. Right there in the charges.
People's elbow. Ooh, the Garland suplex. Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Oh my God, Garland is such a little nothing. He's the guy running by the side of the ring, going, oh. Jack Smith's up there giving Trump chin music left and right. Fonnie Willis comes up with the folding chair. Wow.
You might need this. Here you go. It's like, the folding chair didn't do it. How about this 2x4?
Oh yeah. Wait a minute, what's that sound? It's Alvin Bragg.
Somebody revive Captain Lou. These Goonies are not good enough. Oh my word! Holy crap!
Look, if there's any question as to whether or not this was the biggest trifecta of nerds on the internet, us geeking out about the prosecution in a political case, visualizing them as WWE folks, that's peak right there.
Call the Undertaker. We got one for you.
Yeah. Look
at me. I makes the wrestling jokes.
That's Bernie, hands down. You hear the ding and you're expecting a mountain of a man. You've got this old Vermonter adjusting his glasses, ding dong, and etc. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the potential for universal health care.
Ring that bell. Ring out the girl with the card.
So, ding dong, etc. and so forth. Let's talk about health care. Just like, all right, with the smoke, enough.
I love that man with the mittens.
Yes.
Remember that song, Lucas with the lid off, back in the day?
I don't.
Lucas with the lid off.
definitely.
I'm not going to try and sing it. It's a really, really funky song.
All right.
It's by a guy named guy called Lucas. Call Lucas with the Lid Off. Really listen. It was. I don't know if it made it big in the States, but it was like a #1 hit here way back in the 80s.
What's the deal? Do you remember Lucas with the Lid Off?
It was a sample. Yeah, it was a sample from a song from the 1920s, a ragtime track.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, it has like a Charleston ragtime thing, but it's like Bernie with the mittens. Boop, 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 My mind works in weird ways.
Who would have thought that the symbol of hope for an entire generation would have been a crotchety old socialist with homemade mittens? But by God. he is viewed. He's lionized, and rightly so. He is viewed and cherished for being a grumpy old so and so. And it is
my lawn.
It's my greatest aspiration to get that old and to be that humble and that correct about how politics ought to go.
A lovable curmudgeon. I aspire to the same damn thing. That's what I want to be when I grow up.
100%. Fellas, I've been working. I've been working
yes,
on
you've
a
been working hard.
concept. Well, thank you, first of all. And,
yes.
I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but I'm so glad that there's an opportunity to hang out with you, because I'd love to like workshop this a little bit. And I'm hoping that by expressing my feelings to you, I can work through it.
We're all about feelings. Bring them on, my bud.
Let's do it.
Hunter Biden is the fail son of the Biden family, if we're being honest. Yes. Now, I have a certain degree of sympathy because I am that proudly for my family. I'm delighted that I'm like, just a lovable degenerate, but
my kind of people.
Yeah. But what bugs me,
I'm le mouton noir.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna say that it's like drinking cheap liquor out of a nice glass. I'm gonna say that now.
Okay.
The thing that bugs me though,
Ripple Blanc.
Yeah, I'm gonna I get offended by the fact that we have like actual Nazis now and people waving Confederate flags. And the concept that I feel that I don't exactly know how to express is that like those of us from the gutter are somewhat defensive of the gutter. Like I look at these degenerates, I want to be like, occupy. I might be a gutter creature, but I at least have the dignity to know that I'm not a sewer creature. That's the Nazis. Get them the hell out of here. Those are the folks we got to have no patience for.
They are stinking up the gutter.
Yes, that's it exactly. Yes, I'm going to steal that. I'll credit you. That's it.
We live in the gutter, but we still have pride because pride is a poor man's substitute for class.
Yeah.
And they are stinking up the gutter. We like nice things too, even though we're in the gutter looking up.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm about to jump in an elevator, so I'll disappear for a minute or two.
Okay.
Well put. Like look, I've had this same big gulp for like a week. I rinse it out. I'll pop a little brown party liquor in there from time to time, but I'm not on message boards being like, maybe the Jews caused my problems. No, it's
the Jews put the liquor in your cup, or they took the liquor out of your cup.
They did neither.
Which one's the problem?
The Jews have been largely irrelevant to my life, except that they gave me the word Mazel Tov, which I love to say at ironic times. Somebody's
like yesterday
whipping around
for
like
example.
Somebody's whipping around.
Could you imagine the judge? Okay, that's your plea, Mazel Tov.
Oh, I hope the judge in Trump's next case says 20 years. Mazel Tov.
Oh, I seriously hope that I hope I would kill for one moment where the judge is sitting on the bench and says, "Oh my God, here he goes again," breaks out the nail file. It's just...
I hope so.
I guess I gotta let you finish this one.
I genuinely hope the judge gets increasingly sarcastic. I hope they start with a nail file.
Me too.
If he's got to testify, I hope they graduate to like a tuba, like, oh, were you done?
I want a hand on the hip moment, but like just like that's like, oh, you are not gonna come in my courtroom and do that.
I want the judge to start doing Sudoku. Okay. All right. You'll tug on my robe when you're done talking. Great.
Playing chess with the bailiff.
Yeah. Gonna pause you right there, bailiff. X top middle. Go on.
Rolls the dice. Yahtzee. Sorry.
Oh God. Did you read?
Trump's lawyer going, "Judge, I think you're prejudicing the case." What do you mean? I did not see that coming. Yahtzee. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I did Yahtzee that coming. I'm sorry. I meant to say you and your father are both Yahtzees. This effing guy. I wish. If I had the ability to resurrect anyone, it would be any random World War II veteran.
Oh man!
I just pray they get some nice war flashbacks and do whatever comes natural. For God's sake.
Okay. Now, meanwhile, in the documents case.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about the documents case. Got us on a tangent there.
Well, it seems that it seems that de Oliveira, who is the latest charged, did go in for a Queen 4-day interview or a proffer interview with prosecutors, and then I'm guessing that these charges appear to indicate that he failed the test of saying everything that he knew and not lying about a damn thing. Well, which is what you're supposed to do in one of those Queen 4-day interviews.
Genuinely, that's a great. If you got more to say, we'll come back to it. But that is a very interesting little point there.
Yep. And let's see. There was a name that came out the other day with regard to this. There was a fourth name. Now, this person
Satan.
has not. Pardon?
Satan, I assume. Beelzebub. How do you get worse than Trump? Me. What are we doing? All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop with the nonsense for a second.
Oh my word. Some guy named Yuscil Taveras.
Oh yeah,
who is the information technology worker that I'm guessing that de Oliveira went to say, those security camera footage thingies that you happen to get, like, where do you store all of those? And if I wanted access to them, how would I? Apparently that guy has not been charged yet, it seems, but his name has come up. So I'm guessing that he may be the person from whom Jack Smith got the security footage of Nada and Oliveira moving boxes the day before the prosecutors came to come and look for them, and actually moving boxes onto the damn plane so that Trump can take his cherished boxes to Bedminster with him.
All right.
And then apparently de Oliveira lied to the FBI about not knowing where those boxes went.
Now, darn
Even though they had him on camera actually moving them himself. So the boxes were in his hands. We know they're in your hands. You don't know we know they're in your hands because you don't know we have the video yet. But you're telling me you have no idea where they went when we know where they went because they were in your damn hands.
First of all, in response to an audience member of yours. Oh, hello. In response to an audience member of yours. And look, the folks in the live chat will get it. The answer is, not entirely no. But It's fine in Michigan. But Yuscil Taveras is a shocking development to me because we frankly knew about this guy, and he, this is what really gave me hope in Jack Smith. Because being part of that superseding indictment, yeah, we need to deal with the fact that Trump actually actively tried to impede the investigation after we knew about it already. And it's a good sign that is what has happened. I do also, I do really just want to say towards that general point earlier with the J6 stuff. We are likely looking at less than, if I'm giving an estimate, half of what the final indictments will be, because there is so much left out. But I think we have a long ass trial ahead of us, and I mean that for multiple trials. So I fully expect that we are right now just hearing the highlights, and as you were pointing out, Rudy Giuliani had the Queen for a Day treatment, and shortly thereafter we got this indictment rolling out. I wonder if that was him confirming things they basically already knew and coming up with an agreement to say it in a court of law. I think the timing of these things, in other words, are very much related. And I think when we look back on the histories of this, they will say, yeah, this thing was ready to go. And then they showed Rudy what they had, and Rudy said, okay, I'll flip.
Well, Rudy did say, he's on the record as a long time ago, saying that he did have an insurance policy. And given that he is a prosecutor and has prosecuted mafia-type cases, and 45 is kind of a wannabe mob boss, he knows when is the last possible moment that he can do all this criming and pull the ripcord and still get off scot-free.
Can we say wannabe?
And that was probably the moment.
Is it really wannabe anymore? It's an organization, no doubt about that. He got people killed. No doubt about that. Whether you believe it was criminal or not, his speech on January 6th, people died.
Yep.
There are cash rewards for this guy for breaking the rules. Here's a wild, we don't even discuss the normal scandals this guy also did. Y'all might not realize he stole golf clubs. He stole golf clubs from the United States government. I think Shinzo Abe, when he was still sucking in air that decent people could have used on Earth, he gave the United States, via a gift to the president, golf clubs. Those are currently missing. Donald Trump, apparently, has been spotted with them since then. That's it doesn't even show up on the radar. If any other president had done that, that is all they would be talking about all day, every day, till they return the damn things.
Yep.
We're in bizarre times, man. But this is healthy. Yes, Saucy Sea Witch, golf clubs. And I just heard about another damn thing he took. I can't even remember what it is. I can't get over the...
Government of Israel.
Yes!
The artifacts.
Yes! An Israeli...
Apparently he was given gifts by some guy in Israel that apparently are national artifacts that apparently never even made it to the Oval Office or White House. They just stayed at Mar-a-Lago. Now, apparently this might be the one time that it wasn't Trump.
Maybe.
That someone actually gave him something, said it was from this place, said he could have them, so he kept them, and then the sort of National Treasures Board or whatever you call it of Israel, sort of that. Yeah, we need those back.
Well,
those should have never been there, and if they were stored someplace, they should definitely not have been stored at Mar-a-Lago. Those were supposed to be on display at the White House somewhere.
Yeah. First of all, when you're acting it depends when they gave them. That's true. If they gave them post-presidency, then whatever. But
and what the guy told him when he gave them to him too.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter what they tell you when you're president. You cannot take a box of chocolates without the U.S. government giving you permission. You can't take a glass of milk that expires tomorrow. That rule is fast and firm, and it's there for a reason. It's specifically to prevent people like Trump who take bribes from taking bribes. Obviously, he didn't follow these rules, but the fact that we're even sitting here wondering is bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we ever in the past held our presidents accountable for anything, but like the presidents used to be afraid that we might. And the great irony is this guy was so sure that we wouldn't, even on stuff like this, like stealing art and stealing golf clubs. He was so sure that we wouldn't, that he has finally and firmly forced our hand.
Mm-hmm. Now, apparently, he has returned the oil lamps and all that kind of stuff. So this one,
he doesn't give a
the
damn
government
about
of Israel had an easier time getting the oil lamps back than the government of the United States has getting its documents back.
If they would have given him the ancient Israeli universal remote control, then he wouldn't have given that back. But the oil lamps, he didn't.
That's fine. Yeah. Speaking of people with ethical problems who have no problems taking things that shouldn't probably be delivered to them, lawyers who had business before the Supreme Court apparently paid money to a top aide of Justice Clarence Thomas via a public Venmo account, according to The Guardian. 7 payments were received in November and December of 2019 from lawyers who had previously served as Thomas's legal clerks. The purpose of each payment listed with some type of reference to him specifically and with Christmas party. So CT's Christmas party for Christmas party. Type of thing.
He Venmo'd them?
Venmo, yes. Apparently Republicans love Venmo. Just ask Matt Pizzaface Gates.
Thank you.
Yes. Someone who successfully argued the reversal of affirmative action case is one of the donors. A former White House deputy counsel in the Trump administration was another one of the donors, and the former Solicitor General of West Virginia, who had a key role in the case before the court that limited the EPA's ability to regulate greenhouse gases, was also one of the donors. People are also wondering about the access that Justice Clarence Uncle Tom has been giving to the Horatio Alger Association, a group of ultra wealthy people who dole out scholarships. Apparently, people who love to adopt a Supreme Court justice love funding education.
I feel
for
like
some reason.
Remember
Clarence Thomas's sort of adopted son or whatever that he's taking care of, or nephew, who had his private school tuition paid for by Harlan Crow, apparently. Then it seems that Sheldon Whitehouse is proposing an Ethics Recusal and Transparency Act, and it seems the Supreme Court justices are going, no, thank you. We would rather not. Sheldon Whitehouse is quoted as saying, "We are in a very peculiar environment at the Supreme Court with multiple right-wing billionaires. By my count, we are up to 6 right-wing billionaires who are in various ways seeing to the care and feeding of so far 2 United States Supreme Court justices. I think this is the tip of an iceberg, and a lot more investigation is required." So, that's a little weird. And it seems that, for example, in the most recent case where they overturned affirmative action, the so-called grassroots group called Students for Fair Admissions has no student members at all. It's just a crusty 70-year-old Republican, white, allegedly male, allegedly Christian, allegedly cisgendered, conservative activist named Ed Blum, who has a long history of trying to reverse equal rights. He orchestrated the challenges that led to the Supreme Court of the United States ruling that gutted black voting rights, for example. And he tried to recruit a white woman at first to make the affirmative action case, and that didn't work. So then he tried to recruit Chinese students, saying, "Hey, you're letting too many other people in and we've got the better grades." And apparently no Chinese students whatsoever wanted to join onto his case. But he had some friendly ears at the Supreme Court. So he presented it, and it was heard, and about 50, God knows how many years of legal precedent was just overturned like that.
Wow.
Irony.
Now, Thomas is apparently on the record as saying he stopped reading the mainstream news.
Oh, yeah, that's a shocker.
Many years ago. This guy named Michael Kirk.
You're telling me the husband of Ginny Thomas doesn't read mainstream news? No.
Apparently, yes. And now he relies only on two. Well, at that time, he relied only on two sources: his wife, Ginny, and Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, good.
And he had his staff record the show for him.
And
he and Rush became really, really good friends. So the one thing he absolutely made sure the Supreme Court justice they listen to every day, staff, please record this, is Rush Limbaugh's show. I guess I'm going to cut myself off. I'm a Supreme Court justice. I am supposed to be open to the world and take in all the information and know what's going on so I can deliver wisdom and justice tempered with mercy. And hey, I'm just going to cut myself from the entire world. And I'm going to listen to my wife, who is having part of her salary funded by, again, Harlan Crow, because he made a donation to an organization she was working for who decided to pay her salary, who's letting Justice Thomas's mom live rent-free in an apartment, who's paying for his kid, quote unquote, tuition, who's bringing him to the Bohemian Grove, who's taking him on $100,000 yacht trips where there are servants, all these things. Apparently, that's who he decided to listen to. I'm just going to cut my. There's so much for impeachment here.
Yeah,
this guy.
It feels
it's a
like
level of absurdity that's just beyond belief. And
Alito just gave everyone the finger a couple of days ago too. Right, saying he wasn't going to testify or wasn't going to allow stuff.
I gotta tell you, I have so much sympathy with like a German citizen in 1939. Like it feels like I'm on like the Cobra Kai team. And I'm like, I just was trying to lose a couple pounds, maybe stay limber. I don't know why my teammates over here surrounded and beat up a kid. I was just kind of trying to pick up a hobby. Like, why do we have a Supreme Court justice listening to Rush Limbaugh and an avid QAnon supporter? Like, I don't even expect the judges to even have a real understanding of how regular folks live. All right, no. I don't need all that. I just for God's sake, have a vague sense of reality and don't openly take bribes. Doesn't seem like it's a huge ask. Have you seen how much they get paid annually? They get paid phenomenal amount of money. It's a very cushy job. They get secret
and it seems that as soon as you become one, you have billionaires rushing to ensure that you are watered and housed and fed.
That's
and your kids are educated and you get your annual
hogs
vacation.
Plenty. They don't need any extra apples. They're fine. A state representative makes like $75,000 a year. Like they are doing fine. They do not require bribes. It's wild to me that this is even an issue given the setup we have. Greed absolutely cannot be underestimated. But yes, they live in a bubble. They simply they are not required to interact with the rest of us, and so they don't. And I think possibly the biggest change we need to make in this country, if we are going to get to a place where I could pop out of my friend's podcast and not feel like I have my hat in my hand saying, I'm sorry, we're working on it. The biggest change is going to have to be that these goddamn monsters, they'll tone it down with the cursing, but these monsters need to be forced to just be in our presence. They have to. I don't care if it's like laws that require they walk amongst us literally or what, but this class, this ruling class that we have designed for some freaking reason needs to go away.
Now, here's a juicy tidbit you might like. It seems that the annual meeting at the Bohemian Grove recently took place. This is a retreat at the Redwood Forests in Sonoma. And a lot of the usual suspects. Now, again, this is apparently an all-men's retreat.
Just quick pause.
And we know that we know that repression makes men really weird things.
We do this with gangs. Like we go with, all right, first of all, yes, let's just acknowledge they're all secretly banging. I assume, whatever. Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen. But
no problem with that whatsoever. No problem with that.
If the wives agreed,
while you're there, that's a problem.
There's such a thing as ethical non-monogamy. If the wives agreed, whatever. But the point is this: we do this with gangs. we say, wait a minute, this guy's got a record and you're hanging around him on a regular schedule carrying guns. We should be like, you got pens, you're hanging out with billionaires. No. This is a gang association. Get out of here. Scat.
Yeah.
Bohemian.
So apparently the guest list this year at this really, 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 really exclusive thing where phones and photos and leaks are banned. Oops. Included David Gergen, Chris Matthews.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes. Chris Matthews, Jeb Bush, Karl Rove, former California Governor Jerry Brown, former Speaker of the House Paul Ryan,
of course,
Michael Bloomberg.
Oh, good.
Of course. Yes. Former Senator from Nebraska Ben Sass. That surprises me a little. Former Governor of Arizona Doug Ducey. Former Trump advisor David Urban.
Okay.
These new names, the names that I'm reading now might be even more surprising. Senator Bill Haggerty from Tennessee. Another senator from Nebraska, Pete Ricketts. The Wall Street Journal's editorial page's Paul Gigot.
Well, yeah.
Conservative writer Victor Davis Hanson. California Representative Darrell Issa. And the most interesting name on the list, current Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Ooh. The guy Kevin McCarthy called recently. Not Kevin McCarthy. Eric Swalwell called recently. Good.
Called a what recently?
An affectionate name for a cat.
Oh, okay.
And I was glad
something that the former president likes to grab.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised.
Of grabbing, actually.
That list makes perfect sense to me. If you want a group of people who are willing to do dastardly things for their own benefit, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. God.
No additional thoughts?
I mean, I have a ton. It's like if you were starting an episode of the Super Friends and you wanted to pan down on the swamp fortress of the bad guys, this is the group you would see inside.
Meanwhile, at Swampland headquarters,
Kevin McCarthy's going to be there, planning how their particular legislative end of screwing over regular folks will go. Their nemesis, regular folks. The failed politicians, I'm absolutely sure they're planning their rise to glory and telling the various people they'll sell their souls to all they need in exchange for those souls. And, writer of the Wall Street Journal, not a surprise. There are a ton of publications which basically exist to make the insanity of the Republican Party seem like it's just business. But they are having a harder and harder time of it because of two issues. Issue number one, the internet now exists and people can fact check live, and most of what they print is nonsense. It's simply not true. Thing number two is we have now had 30 plus years of neoliberal policy, which the Wall Street Journal massively supports. And it has been proven, not just over time, but over multiple countries, that it simply does not work. So it does not surprise me to hear this collection of rogues meeting in a rogue fortress, planning, I assume, on, I don't know, stealing my actual shoes. Totally is what I would expect. We're in hell.
In hell.
And I do say we should apply gang laws to them. I don't know how, but we should just find a way and say, no, you're hanging out in a bad crowd. There's too many zeros in the annual income there. You're out skis. We're breaking it up.
Oh, okay. Something closer to home for you, dear sir, because of course, there's Dana Nessel, who is just throwing out indictments all over the place.
Oh, yes.
Seems the latest one according to PBS News. A former Republican Attorney General candidate and another supporter of former President Donald Trump have been criminally charged in Michigan in connection with accessing and tampering with voting machines after the 2020 election, according to court records. Matthew DiPerno, a Republican lawyer who was endorsed by Trump in an unsuccessful run for Michigan Attorney General last year. So he was trying to get the job that Dana Nessel currently has, and now she has it, and now she's indicted him. Was charged with undue possession of a voting machine and conspiracy, according to Oakland County Court records.
Matthew DiPerno was crazier than a sack of cats. First of all,
that's a good one. I like it.
Second of all, I mean, he was practically eclipsed. Michigan is a great microcosm for the rest of the United States. And there were people in running last election that were like at the insurrection and were still bragging about it as people were getting arrested, and then got arrested because they bragged about it in a campaign ad. Like, it was a fully crazy list of candidates. And I gotta tell you, Dana Nessel, Jocelyn Benson, and Gretchen Whitmer, that's the Attorney General, Secretary of State, and Governor of Michigan. They are a trifecta to follow. They represent, in my opinion, the high watermark for the decency of politics in my state that I have ever witnessed while I was present to witness anything on earth. And I would say if you want to be very much in the know going forward amongst your friends, follow them, because they are going places. Whitmer is her term's coming up soon here. I would expect to see her in national politics. Ditto for Dana Nessel, who, if she is not this country's attorney general with sometime within the next 15 years, I'll purchase a hat similar to that one and eat it.
maybe go for the dollar store version. This was expensive.
I was hesitant.
Ecuadorian.
It does look a little
Panama. Yeah,
but the one you have probably has the better nutritious fiber content.
Fair. There's things to.
Well, this is true. It's funny. So, like, this is a Panama hat,
store hat,
but Panama hats they're made in Ecuador.
That's maddening.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not a real Panama hat if it doesn't come from that special region in Panama.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of dog is that? That's an Australian Shepherd. Oh, so they're from Australia? No, California.
Why do they confuse the children so?
When I read it a couple of weeks ago, and I just shook my head. I'm like, oh, this author is the Labrador Retriever, the Golden Lab, the all-American dog.
Yeah.
Labrador. It's in the name. It's a place in Canada. It's a part of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's how difficult. You're writing it on a computer. You have Google. Maybe look up the etymology of the word Labrador. How difficult would that be?
And you know what? You have
go ahead, Rick.
Genuine apology, because Labrador retrievers are some of the finest dogs. You guys ought to be proud.
Yes.
We tried it. We wound up with the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. It's the only dog that'll call you to your face. It didn't work out as well. I love them.
I guess not.
Beefy, come here. Go bark yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much,
I'll come when I'm damn good and ready. Okay, Mr. Grizzly, we have an asset to put up if we can.
Let's see if I can do that. Hang on.
I decided to give our old pal Jake a happy Trudeau moment.
Ooh, okay.
Now, you remember, Mr. Grizzly, yesterday we showed a clip of Trudeau during his, media availability. Turns out it was something that lasted about 45
Doesn't
minutes.
look like I can do it from my phone, sir.
Oh, no. Okay, well, we'll play it.
Sorry.
We'll play the audio. But
okay.
I'll play the audio. We won't get the visual.
I'll bring up my standard picture of Trudeau, which I do pine over about once a week, so I'll have a visual aid myself.
You can't have him. He's ours, and we don't have term limits, so you can't have him until we're done.
Damn. All right.
Oh wait, no, I
Hands are
can do it. I can do it.
Okay.
I can do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. This
Oops, hang on.
is
Damn, that's impressive.
It's slow.
Okay. This is literally 4 minutes and 23 seconds of True Daddy. True Daddy is back. He brought out the dad voice. I'm going to have to sit back and watch the entire 45 minutes of this thing because
I'll listen in the background
clips
because I'm
that we
busy.
showed-
Okay.
Yeah, the clips that we showed yesterday were fantastic, and then this one came up on top of that, outside of that, and I was like, why wasn't this the one that was shown everywhere? So here we go, talking about Pierre Poilievre's strategy of basically being the world's most negative and dour person.
You've spoken a lot during this press conference about Pierre Poilievre, and you've used multiple answers to kind of go after him and his policies. He's been going after you for a long time on this issue of inflation, affordability, and of course, housing. You just shuffled your cabinet, you elevated Sean Fraser to housing. Is there a recognition, perhaps, or a sensitivity on your part that he has tapped into something that people are very concerned about? And do you feel threatened now by his leadership?
No, what is of concern to us is the fact that there are so many people having trouble making ends meet. And that's why we moved forward over the past year with significant investments to help Canadians. Investments like ensuring that kids under 12 have access to dental care. And let's pause on that for a second, because that's something that is making a huge and real difference. We're talking hundreds of thousands of families who sent their kids to the dentist for the first time over the past year. Pierre Poilievre, to bring him up again, as you brought him up, voted against dental care. He said providing dental care to low-income Canadians would just feed inflation. Well, there's two things wrong with that. First of all, we have seen inflation come down now to the lowest levels of most of our partners, back into the Bank of Canada range, which is a very good thing, which shows that our targeted investments have actually been able to bring down inflation even while we're supporting Canadians. And the second piece of it is that so he was wrong about its impact on inflation. And he chose to vote against and to stand against and try to block in the House delivering of dental care for vulnerable Canadians. Why would you do that? Why would you say that dental care is fine for MPs and their families, and it's not inflationary for people to send their kids to the dentist if you have money to do it? But to let low-income people and people who are otherwise struggling have kids with a brighter smile and vote against that in the name of protecting from higher inflation when inflation has steadily been going down? That's him making baseless arguments, completely disconnected from fact, but playing on the very real fear, anxiety, and frustration that people are out there. That yes, there are challenges around the cost of living. But you don't solve problems by scaring people, by stirring up anger. He's hoping that he's going to be able to get votes out of it, but that's not how you build a stronger economy.
Excellent.
Confident communities, confident countries invest in themselves. His solution on anything is cut housing supports, cut dental supports.
I love that.
Bring forward a two-tier healthcare. You haven't heard him talk about the investments we're making in healthcare because he doesn't want to have anything to say about that. Because these are real measures that are going to be helping Canadians. His answer to everything is cuts and be angry.
Oh, beautiful.
That's not Canada. That's not how we build a stronger future. That's not how we've gotten through the challenging times we've had in the past. Canadians roll up their sleeves and get to work and build and invest in themselves and their communities. That's what we do. We partner with people. We don't pick fights with mayors. That's where the anger that he is drumming up is dangerous for Canadians who would much rather work hard and build a strong future than throw up their hands and say, oh, It's all terrible. It's all broken. Let's all stay home. No, that's not who Canadians are. So I won't be stirring up anger. I will be pointing out where his proposals are irresponsible and unserious. I will stay focused on solving the challenges Canadians are facing rather than exploiting them for political gain, like Pierre Poilievre does.
Beautiful. That concept.
And welcome back. We're joined now by the twice
good way. Okay. Absolutely willing to hear that too. But that concept that if you believe in a country, you are willing to invest in it. That is the correct attitude to have. That is how you build something. That is how, as a people, you accomplish amazing things that the world envies. That is the kind of leader that I feel the 21st century requires.
Mm-hmm. And here, the thing that's interesting about this to me is, I don't know if you know, but recently there was a cabinet shuffle.
I'm aware of it, but I know next to nothing.
For the equivalent for the United States is that in the United States, all the secretaries of the various departments are named, and they don't necessarily have to be elected officials. In Canada, for the most part, cabinet ministers don't, by law, have to be someone that's elected, but usually they are people that are elected, and you put them together, and they're given their portfolios, health, international trade, defense, like in the United States. And then every now and then, if somebody decides that they want to retire, or they have to be moved, or Prime Minister's just not happy, because he'll jig them around. He'll bring new people in, put some people out, change people portfolios, that type of thing. So we had that, and it's about 2 years prior to an election. And the big consideration was, okay, well, he may bring these new faces in. He may have made his cabinet a little younger. He may have brought in some, dynamic people with some energy. But if it's the same old sclerotic inner circle at the top delivering the same old message, it's not going to matter. We just got a view of what the new message is.
All right.
He's coming out firing. He's coming out swinging. The boxer is back in the ring. Kitties.
Yes.
So this is a new message. This is a new tone. We've got lines in there. For example, confident communities invest in themselves.
Yes.
That is a new line from the Prime Minister on this type of thing. Cuts and anger. Now, some people are saying, well, I understand why people are angry in this moment. And maybe anger, yes, anger is not good. But for me, maybe it's more negativity.
Yeah. Cuts and complaints.
Yes, cuts and complaints. Poilievre's basically negative Norbert.
Yeah.
Literally. Every time he opens his mouth, he's talking us down or talking about how things are shit or things are terrible. And then turning around going, that's not Canada. So he's almost going Joe Biden a little bit, battle for the soul of America, battle for the soul of Canada here. On this one, that's not what Canada is. It's like you have been spending the last 2 years trying to redefine what Canada is. And I'm not going to let you have it. I haven't said much over the last 2 years. I've been just like taking care of COVID and whatnot, but now it's time. Because we don't pick fights with mayors. All this came up as a result of the fact that the Prime Minister made an announcement in Hamilton the other day that he had $45 million from the Rapid Housing Accelerator Fund to give to that city to help them with projects. And then people go, $45 million to build 124 homes when we need to be 5.8 million? That's really is talking it down. But like this, well, one, you got to start somewhere. And
yes,
how many homes in Hamilton funding would be enough for you to be okay with that? How many, Pierre? How many? How many? Yes,
how many? How many?
Just a number, please. How many? And then
just speaking
here's
broadly,
the boss.
Oh, go ahead.
Right. And here's the boss thing, right? He goes, number one, we don't throw up our hands and say everything's broken. We roll up our sleeves. He literally took Pierre's everything's broken line, grabbed him by the arm like this, and it's like, why are you punching yourself? Why are you punching yourself in the mouth, Pierre? Why everything's broken? What does that include you?
Yeah.
Are you the why stop punching, stop hitting yourself, Pierre? Total boss move. And then in an extra boss move, right? Because Chrystia Freeland did hers the other day, right?
Oh, yes.
Hear what I say? Here's the full clip. Extra boss move. He literally telegraphs how he's going to take him down. I'm going to be pointing out where his policies are irresponsible and unserious. And I swear this guy has been listening to our show because we've been saying hashtag just not serious about PR for the longest time. And we were talking about how we need to have a different rhetoric and come and talk about these things. And he's doing it. And he's sitting there and he's going, listen here, motherfucker, you little twerp. Here's how I'm going to take you down. I'm giving you my playbook. I'm telling you exactly how I'm going to do it.
He's like Larry Bird.
Just watch me execute.
He's Larry Bird on the sideline. He's like, I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to pass this ball between your legs, run up to the free throw line, stop short, and fire it off. I'm going to get 3. And then he's going to do it. I believe him. That's amazing.
He's just told him how he's going to take him down. Like this. And everybody has been wanting to hear Justin Trudeau just once say the line his dad made.
Just watch me.
Just watch me. And that whole thing was this. Here's I'm going to take you down. Now just watch me do it. Now just watch me execute on this plan.
Lefties.
And you know something? That will fire up Pierre's base. And they'll be calling out Trudeau as a dictator more so than they ever have.
Good.
They'll go on like waxing poetically about how he's this communist dictator, Nazi socialist. None of that makes any sense. No. But they'll do. He's a fascist dictator. They're robbing our freedom. They're taking from us. And they'll go on and on and on about it. And Skippy will come up with some dumb retort that anybody with half a brain would look at and listen to and go, none of that makes any goddamn sense. Bring it home, bring home powerful paychecks. Look, man, I've had jobs where I've earned some decent money. Not once did I ever look at a check and go, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Look,
but the worst part of it all, sorry, I was just going to say how Jagmeet the other day went on basically parroting what Skippy keeps saying about housing and this. And then, of course, we saw the Prime Minister the following day. And of course, thank you for airing that, Mr. Beaver, because I had not seen that clip. If you said it's 45 minutes, I'm going to have to watch the whole thing. But the PM the other day who said, look, it's not our responsibility, but we're going to help out anyway. And people got mad at him for that. And I'm like, well, what he said was right. How Harper got out of housing altogether federally. It did go before that, though, when the federal government stopped building houses, and that happened under Chrétien. So let's not forget that. But Harper took the federal government further out of housing. So Skippy's sitting there going how the federal government needs to do this, and then Jagmeet backing him up. It's like, what are you doing, man? Why are you're counting on people to be ignorant and stupid? And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it with a passion.
That, first of all, Jagmeet Singh has been embarrassing me for going out of my way to talk about how much I liked him when we first talked about that guy together. It's like he heard me. Like,
he has his moments.
Killing me.
When he's on, he's very on. But
to your comment about how Poliver followers are going to complain. Look, if you're cleaning up slop, the pigs are going to squeal about it. So it's a good sign if you're hearing them complain. If they're not complaining about something your politician's doing, you should question if it's the right thing to do.
Right. Nobody complains more about being called a racist than actual general racists.
Yes. Somebody calls me a racist, I will genuinely say, "Oh God, what did I say?" You know, it's not terribly hard to exist in this world. You ask for clarity, acknowledge that you're a dummy, and then you move on. But a genuine racist will be like, "I'm not a racist. I'm going to a costume party later, and I am a ghost."
I just have deeply held beliefs about.
Well, they always start it with, when anybody starts a conversation, says, "I'm not a racist, but you're a racist."
Whatever follows is going to make you cringe.
I am not a racist. I just have strong opinions about the Uten. Oh.
And the Führer, he's such a wonderful... I'm just thinking about the producers now. Right, pigeons? It's happy tippy tappy toe time.
For Hitler.
Come here, little Hans, little Fritz, little Adolf. It's a family name. Oh, God.
Oh my word! That's all the stuff that I've got for Trump stuff. The only little American thing is again with the voting machines. It seems to be a thing because in Coffee County, Georgia, there was also a voting systems breach revealed when Scott Hall, a bail bondsman, testified in a civil suit.
Yes.
Quote, "I'm the guy that chartered the jet to go down to Coffee County to have them inspect all those computers. They scanned all the equipment, imaged all the hard drives, and scanned every single ballot. And for that, y'all are going to jail."
You're going to prison. He has no idea he just admitted to a crime.
And this was another thing. His whole group was that other thing was made to look like a grassroots movement, just like the Coke thing. Just like they're all made to look like grassroots movements. But it seems there are links there also to people in 45's inner circle, such as Sidney Powell. So I'm sure Jack Smith's going to have his hands all over that too.
Look, it first of all, my expertise dwindles, and I will happily transition to fan listening coming up. But I do want to say they genuinely, I mean, their mentality is genuinely like, no, I'm not a criminal. I'm white. No. I'm not a criminal. I was doing it for the Republican Party. It's not a crime. I had a MAGA hat on. How could it be a crime?
Well, actually,
MAGA hat's like cake on your birthday. Cake on your birthday is guilt and fat for calorie free. When you're wearing the MAGA hat, insurrection is it's like going to pick up milk.
I was looking at my color swatches, and they say I didn't do a crime. That's how they think about these things. Very much.
Don't do the criming if you can't do the timing, right?
Yeah. Oh, they're about to find out. I think a lot of them estimated that they could, and they will find out about a week in that they very much cannot.
Oh man. And in Georgia, also apparently, Fani Willis, even though she says things are coming, has issued 2 more subpoenas for testimony before the grand jury. So she's still having people come in and testify. One of them to a journalist, and the other one to a state senator.
I'd be real curious to hear what their definition of journalist is, but maybe it's just somebody that got that.
You're talking about Georgia. I've got something for you from Florida here.
Oh, brace yourselves.
Yeah, I know. As soon as you say Florida, it's like everybody's like, here's for those who have denied science for the longest time.
Oh, God.
Reports are suggesting that leprosy may now be endemic in Florida.
Woohoo.
Leprosy is a bacteria infection that attacks the nerves and is now spreading throughout southeastern states, particularly in Florida. According to data, there were 159 cases in the U.S. in 2020. Central Florida accounted for 81% of cases reported in Florida and almost 1/5 of nationally reported cases. DeSantis is far too busy chasing woke and whitewashing Black history to address this.
I mean, talk about a transcription error. They were trying to bring back Jesus to America, and they brought back biblical era diseases.
Leprosy. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You got it. Just a
Republican Jesus, folks. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, look, we got everything here. We have people starving. We have leprosy. We have a significant lack of booze. With the grains being short, let's just hope that this is what Jesus was waiting for. You know, like how you coax a dog out with a treat. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But for the Lord Jesus Christ.
I could just see in the back, it's like a fashion show, and someone's in the back of the curtain. Okay, Locust, in 30 seconds, get her here, but that button's not down there. Okay, go, you're on. Go.
No, not a joke. We literally, I mean, had locusts. We had a locust problem last summer. It was what they called a mega swarm.
Isn't that called foreshadowing?
Ooh. And if you're looking for
you figure
tryouts for Sodom
fires,
and Gomorrah,
floods,
fires, floods. That's very biblical weather. We got Sodom and Gomorrah
locusts.
Very much at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, I'll give them
leprosy.
credit.
Let's just bring them all back. Let's bring back all the classics, right?
I'll give them credit. The Republican Party definitely biblical literalists. They're sticking by their guns. God help us all.
It reminds me of those that cartoon I saw. It's like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and then there's a 5th one riding up, and it's like Mother Nature, and she's wearing a floor wreath, and goes, "Oh my God, here comes trouble."
Yeah. The 4 horsemen of the American apocalypse are the Klansman, the billionaire, the drunk guy. No specification beyond that necessary, and the fail son. When they combine, that's when you have the worst trouble.
Yeah,
gentlemen.
the trifecta right there. Right?
Yeah. Gentlemen,
there we go, Mr. Grizzly.
I won't stink up your stream any longer than necessary. But it's a
just
huge
wanted,
honor.
I want you to stay with us.
Oh yeah,
for a couple of seconds. Mr. Grizzly, here's I found it, the cartoon actually. Oh, come on up.
I don't know if the kids can see that or not. I can't see it on the stream, and I don't have another feed running, so maybe it's there. I don't know. Just throw it.
So it's basically the 4.
If the kids in the chat can let us know if they can see the graphic.
Yeah.
So it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and Mother Nature's riding on a white horse, and she's got like this bad beauty queen banner, and Mother Nature and floor wreath. They say, "Hey guys, wait up!" Oh, this one's bad news. Oh, there it just popped up for a second.
Yeah.
I got a glimpse.
Got a glimpse.
She's on the white horse.
There you are.
Yeah.
On the way.
Yeah, there it is.
Leave it up there. I think I had another one for us here. This is the other one. It's people running a race, and somebody's holding a sign going, "Run like Donald Trump is behind you, and Justin Trudeau is just ahead."
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. Yeah.
Okay. I think we have enough for today. There is I just want to play. I'm going to do it as the Easter egg. I want to play a Randy Rainbow thing, because I love Randy Rainbow. And last month he put out something, a video parody called "Donald and the John with Boxes."
Ooh, okay.
And I think we could use a good laugh. So hold on there, Kits and Cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show with surprise guest Jake. I'm glad you could come on, because
honored, gentlemen.
This day would not have been the same without you. Now, Mr. Grizzly, Jake has extended an invitation for us to come on What You Can Do network show anytime.
Cool.
I'm here that they usually film around 9 p.m.
Yes, and I'll toss this out there. I'm notoriously unreliable. Let's use this to my advantage. Whenever it's convenient for y'all, that'll be when we do it.
Okie dokie. So, hey, we're breaking out into the U.S. because we know in Canada you never make it unless you make it on the other side of the border, right? Although
that was an idiom that was very true for decades for musicians, actors, performers. You know. We didn't have the population, but now that we're 40 million, we could support a lot more so than we ever could before. But still, you know,
that's why you guys got Anne Murray and Snowbird all those years ago.
And depending how 24 goes, you might have a hell of a population boom coming.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, we got room. Yeah. It's like we keep on saying it. New England, Minnesota, West Coast. If your man ain't treating you right, we'll treat you right. Oh, you got healthcare.
Noted.
And you get healthcare with it.
Oh God.
Join us.
And soon, dental care.
Oh yes, sir.
Come to the dark side, Americans. We've got cookies. Cookies. And not oatmeal raisin.
Yes, except the sugar.
This episode of the Daily Beaver podcast. We hope you love listening to us because we love making this for you. No insult intended to anybody who actually likes oatmeal raisin cookies. Remember that sharing is caring. Hey, they're cookies. They're cookies. So they all pass. There are just some that are better than others, but they're cookies. Cookies get you in the door. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So let your peeps know about us because democracy is something that you do. We keep on saying it. Grab that pen, grab that paper, use your cursive, and write a letter to your MPs, your MLAs, your MPPs, your senators, members of the media, and let them know you demand better.
Yes.
Yeah. Heck, write them. Hey, Congress, Canada up here, we're watching through our drapes, and could you clean that up? Because if you guys go south, you take us down with you. We'd really like for that to happen. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Very much.
Yes. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on Crier Media Network, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and views are greatly appreciated, and we love to hear from you. So please reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, and by email or Fmail or Gmail or Hmail. We don't care what letter you use, as long as you reach us at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. You cannot subscribe to us via our pod page anymore because they have let us know that apparently what the problem is that by having a free version of the program, a lot of people were abusing it and they were spending all their time trying to deal with the abuse. So they've just canceled the free thing so that they can focus on providing the service.
Our page is still up as of this morning, but that should change very soon. And I'm in talks with somebody to make arrangements to keep it operational.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hell yeah.
So we'll keep you updated to that. And if that doesn't happen, then I'll start repopulating the coffee page. And we'll do it by putting new episodes as they come and then filling up the back episodes eventually. Because I will have like over 120 of them to put up, which will be a lot. But if I need to, I will do it. Why not subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us out big time, and we see that you are, so thank you very much. We've crossed 300, and we are closing in rapidly on 310. So keep it going. Next goal, 400. Ultimate goal. Big milestone, 1,000, and then ultimate goal, millions. Millions. Everybody needs a little beaver and grizzly in their lives. Well, maybe not everybody, but almost everybody. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, if you're watching, you can scan the QR code on the top left to find our coffee/hot chocolate/bloody Caesar/Guinness fund. That's how you keep us hydrated, and since Jen is here, moist, so that we can keep on delivering this wonderful product to you. We can keep podcasting moistly to you. If you are listening, please use the beautiful digits on your beautiful hands or your voice prompt to go to ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And that's where you can make your donation. And if you would like to also contribute to my Farm Boy gluten-free chocolate chip ice cream cookie fund, I won't complain. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Jake, as the guest, what are your words of wisdom?
Absolutely. Do not trust your leaders to lead without your input. Make sure you are in constant contact with them so they know what you want to do or what you want them to do, and they know you're watching them.
There we go. Oh, Kit Saucy goes Speedo Bears. Where's Pete? We need him to make a logo of a bear in a Speedo. You know what? We're going to start sponsoring a swim team.
Well, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before I get my new ASMR channel, which will be on OnlyFans. It's Angry Speedo Man Rants, where I will be standing around in my cherry red Speedo. Maybe some days I'll wear the black one. I have more than one. And I will just rant at people at request. But you got to pay for that.
It's a non-zero chance I'm going to sign up. It just does sound like a delightful experience, I have to admit.
There's a market for everything. I'm saying that we said this as a joke, but I think that this is crazy enough and that it might work.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Grizzly, how about your words of wisdom, please?
It takes infinitely more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Anger is something that zaps your energy and your strength. Happiness, joy, smiling, and laughing rejuvenates you and gives you strength. and makes you happy and makes everybody around you happy. So try and smile, try and be happy, and dispense with your anger when you need to. Take it out in the gym on the heavy bag if you need to, or come up with a rant for me to give to you for $5.99 on my new OnlyFans channel, Angry Speedo Man Rants.
$5.99 for the first minute, $2.99 every minute after. Call now. Yes, kids, be lazy, smile.
Be lazy and smile.
I like that.
Be lazy, smile. All right, Mr. Grizzly, roll the credits, and then we'll have the Easter egg. New. Ooh, that's new. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. All right, kiddies, let's enjoy a couple of minutes of Randy Rainbow, Mr. Grizzly. Hopefully the asset will come up.
I got it.
Okay. It's, please show on the screen. Please show on the screen.
It might be. Just a second. I'll check.
There we go. It's there. God, Mr. Grizzly, where'd you go? Don't go check anything. Come back.
Be. Just a second. I'll check.
No, it's working.
Play it.
I'm imagining.
Okay, here we go.
We're joined now by the twice indicted Republican frontrunner, fresh off his latest arrest, Donald Jessica Trump. Thanks so much for posting bail here.
Thank you.
Mr. Former Fake President Girl, hundreds of thousands of millions of classified documents were found at Mar-a-Lago, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, in the closet where you store your wigs. Sir, what were you doing with all those boxes?
Ready?
Ugh, I'm bored.
There was nothing to be classified. These were newspaper stories, magazine stories.
At one point, you apparently held up a highly sensitive military plan of attack document in front of a room full of randos.
There was no document. That was a massive amount of papers and everything else, and it may have been held up or may not, but that was not a document. I didn't have a document per se.
Well, sweetie, I don't mean to grab you by the per se, but according to the indictment, there is a reporting of you saying, and I quote, "Look at me, I have classified documents. These are definitely not declassified. Look at me, I'm a big boy, daddy, please love me."
I have every right to have those boxes. This is purely a Presidential Records Act. This is not a criminal thing.
Picture his ass in a bright orange jumpsuit, banging on bars with a rusty tin cup. Thought he'd be cute and just take what he wanted, but looks like it's time to pay up.
You know, Clinton took documents. Clinton took tapes in his socks.
Damning indictments for federal crimes piling up on his desk. Yapping fleas about how Hillary handled her docs. And meanwhile, Donald's in the jar with boxes.
Not that I know of.
Donald's in the jar with boxes.
There was no document.
Donald's in the jar with boxes.
It's a political witch hunt.
Down in Palm Beach at the home of this klepto, hidden there under his padded commode. just within reach of his diapers and Pepto on national secrets and nuclear code. This nuclear sits on the can, thumbing classified records like their own golf magazines, proudly protesting there's nothing that he has to hide. But there goes Donald in the jar with boxes. Come on out, through Donald in the jar with boxes.
This is not a criminal thing.
Donald in the jar with boxes. You okay in a girl? Dudes in blue jackets appear at his door, ready to take him away.
These are thugs.
Still all these hacks back him up. What the hell's going on? Donald in the John with boxes. That's a lot of boxes. Donald in the John with boxes. Donald in the John with boxes.
This is not a criminal thing.
Picture his ass in a bright orange jumpsuit, rocked to the dust as he tried to obstruct. Thought he'd be cute and just take what he wanted, and now he's totally screwed.
It's a witch hunt.
Beautiful.
I always love the little whoops. I always love the little thing at the end. It's a witch hunt. Pitch, please.
I'm hoping we don't get a copyright violation for that because it's too good, and I hope it doesn't get taken down. But maybe if you reach out to Randy and send him a message, he'd be cool with it.
Yep, hopefully, because it's parody, so it's fair use.
It should be okay.
His parodies are copyrighted or whatnot, but hopefully, it'll be okay. Just a little note on that. To add to that, little detail. It seems that De Oliveira and Nada, it seems that there was a 24-minute phone call between De Oliveira and Trump that started it all. And it seems we talked the other day about them going in and out of bushes, and they went into like some audio closet as well to talk about stuff. Well, it seems that the video camera footage, the surveillance footage, it's not that Nada was or De Oliveira were on the ground and like saying, "Hey, let's go onto the other property through the bushes to go." It was Donata showed up from an adjacent property, snuck through the bushes, took De Oliveira, pulled him on the other side of the bushes. They talked, and then De Oliveira came back.
Wow.
It's like,
are they villains from a cartoon
on video taking someone aside to discuss in secret the thing that you didn't want to see.
We have
on the tapes we were trying to destroy.
We have the heroes from Law and Order versus the villains from Scooby-Doo.
And once again, they pull off the mask, and it's a rich old white man. Go figure.
Yeah.
Oh
no!
I would have gotten away if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
You mispronounced hood, first of all, and second of all, oh no, it was exactly who we thought it was. Who would have guessed, except everyone. Christ.
All right, kids. We hope that we left you with some laughs. Have a great day. And Jake, thank you so much for being
guys.
Thanks again, brother. See you soon.
It's a good day. I'll see you.
Donald in the John with boxes. I'm gonna have that in my head all day.
I gotta go. I'll see you later.